day for everybody. Um, got some notes here. I'm gonna write stuff down. So today is Life After Awakening. Hi, my name is Michael Rolla, spiritual channel, spiritual medium, life coach, ascension guide. And I basically just wanted to talk today about, basically my channel, this YouTube, what I've been doing here, is, spirituality for the masses is what I like to call it. So I'm going to start putting that on it, putting that stamp on everything. So Sunday spiritual session, spirituality for the masses, because it's really about time we started talking about this stuff, in an open format. There's too much oppression in the world, and I think we all know that. So, what is it like, life after awakening? And Buddha was with me, and he'll probably have some things to say as we go along. So I'm just gonna, in and out, Buddha, me, higher self, etc., all this stuff. But what is that? What is the awakening? What's it's that stuff that's happening right now. What's happening to the world, everybody. We're all realizing that we need a better place, we want a better world, we want better things, right? Hey Jeannie, nice to see you. So we're in this world, and we're all fed up with it, or whatever world you're in, right? And we all want better, and we all want greater things. So what's this whole awakening thing about? What's this whole ascension thing, and to take the hype out of it and to take all that stuff down, it's as simple as people just realizing, like, there's a better way, So I wrote some things down. What is life after awakening? It's opening up to the subtle realms. It's realizing that you are a creator. It's going from lack and limitation to infinite love and freedom. It's going beyond, and then beyond, and then beyond, and then beyond again. So for a lot of us, we need to really remove ourselves from that human side, which is, I've said a lot of times, but after you do that, you're going to find, you're still here, and you're still having to, live here and having to figure all this stuff out, right? So, that's why it's about the subtle realms. It's about going from, all this stuff that you can't do, and realizing all the stuff that you can do on, inside. When you learn astral projection, when you learn how to, travel, in space and through using the mind and the soul and stuff like that, you can go anywhere, anytime. You can have the most amazing experiences, in the world, in the world. And that goes to say, there's so many people, whether, the poor or, they have lack, and, it's like how we live in a society. We want stuff all the time. We want stuff, and to play with more and more and more and more stuff, because we get trained that way as kids. We keep being given gifts over and over and over and over and over again. And then we get bored, and we lose a sense of wonder, and we lose a sense like we're expecting the next thing. And so all this stuff, takes us away from looking inside, right? And that reality that there's more inside of us than we'll ever find outside in this physical world right here, right now. Hey, Nicole, good morning. So it's the limitation is around us. It's why, we're saying all the time, how come I don't have more? How come we don't have more of this, more of that, more of this? Well, stop trying to get it then from out there, because it's not there, So where is it? Well, it's inside of you, right? Well, what's inside of you? Everything is inside of you, right? But we have to understand who we are first. We have to address that, the spiritual side, that we are spiritual beings having human experiences, first and foremost. It's like thoughts. We have a million thoughts out in the universe we can think, but you don't have to own them all. It's like, it's consciousness. It's who you are, is your level of consciousness, right? So let's get into some of them here. Let's see. It's getting over yourself, right? Like really in a big way. And I think that's what I was kind of describing is we live and we try to figure things out, and we learn as best as we can, this is white, this is black, this feels good, this doesn't feel good, so you go through life and we try to accumulate the things that feel good and like let go of all the things that don't, right? But then you get into that trap where the things that you own now are trapping you within that, because again, it's all external stuff, right? So after you wake up, it's like coming home to realizing like what is really important and what do you really need and what can you do in this world to help people, instead of running around the rat race trying to figure out how to satisfy yourself by something that's outside of you, that's for some reason somehow always just out of reach, right? Or once you go and you do that, it's like if you stay home for too long and then you want to go out, so then you go out, but then it's like, I could have stayed home, but you got that fill of, you went out, you got your, you're satisfied, and then now you're good, you can go back in again, right? So we're constantly like bouncing around to like some thing that's, still not yet here, that we keep chasing, we keep thinking we need to find, because it's not within us already, so life after waking up is that realization that you are a creator being and everything resides within and around you. It's your opinion that matters to you, so stop asking for anybody else's. Hold on, let's go again. I know there's another part to that. It's getting over yourself, but at the same time realizing the importance of you, but from that detached way. It's getting over your human, right? Everyone is, it's like, it's like anywhere you go in society, or, groups of people here, groups of people there. It's like, it's the same groups of people. It's the same, like if you took a group of kids in school from like high school, right? You can basically copy and paste like to every other high school, or every other generation. It's always the cool guys versus the not so cool guys, but then everybody has, everyone within the group, right? So it's like everyone's friends, and it's all a group friend, and then everyone, but it's all like the same people. You have like the alphas, you have the ones who are quieter, you have the ones who are louder. It's like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, and this like life over and over again. So getting over yourself, not in a negative way. Hey Jimmy, I didn't say hi. It's not getting over yourself like you're not important, but it's getting over, all like, oh my God, blah, 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 whine about my day. And it's like, yeah, you and every other human being right now is having, like, not everyone, but it's like the same stuff. And it's like Groundhog's Day. Like life on Earth is like Groundhog's Day, until you like take yourself out of it and you get over yourself, and it's like, what's your goal? To be the CEO of some business? Hey, great, good on you, good for you, right? Now what? It's like, you're not the first one, and it's not to say that your journey wasn't amazing in getting there, do it, do your, but that's the whole point is, finding what resonates with you inside, as opposed to like constantly needing things outside of you to validate who you are already. It's like, people say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I always said like happy, you know what I mean? But it's that idea, what do you want to be when you grow up? Well, I already am something. Clearly you don't really think much of it, thanks, because sorry, I'm not a doctor yet, or whatever. But again, it's who are we asking, and I think once we shift that, once we take all that energy that's externalized, that's just floating around, that's all chaotic, and we internalize it all, and then we, it's like service to self or service to others. When you take care of yourself and you become a kind, loving, compassionate person yourself, you're serving other people, because now they all can rest assured that they live in a world that is filled with people like you, right? Filled with people that they want to be filled with, So let's see, where was I? Because I'll tell you right now, there are definitely some unsavory types who are out there who most definitely value you and your energy and your work and your input. So, if you don't, there's a lot of that, with insecurities, or, in the world, if you didn't pass the class, you didn't do good, right? So now we feel bad, it's just like, don't feel bad about yourself, because there are people out there who value you a lot, right? So, life after awakening, it's the whole thing is changed. It's getting over yourself and getting over that world, that perceived, old world, right? And where are the veils that we have? Well, it's your veil. It's the veil that you allowed to believe that you're still where you're at and you're still letting life affect you in these ways, right? So it's not anything that you need to blame on someone else. It's not anybody else's fault for you accepting the veil or accepting the not truth, right? Some false thing, which again, as kids, what are we supposed to do? We learn as much as we can, right? But it's important that once you get to a place of awakening, that you have, a path and a way, and, people to talk to in communities and things like this, so that's what, I'm trying to do. And that's what's all coming out now, with everybody. And, it's coming out in all the millions of ways, whether it's politics, whether it's society, whether it's pollution, whether it's countries fighting against other countries, it's like, we're tired of it, and it's all, so life after awakening, it's like, what is life after awakening? Well, you woke up and you realized, like, love, like, what am I doing here? Why did I bother coming here if I'm not going to do something that's fun, if I'm not going to do something, and then there's that level of it, so I incarnated into this, so I wanted to bring all the love that I could to a world that's never going to understand it. And I wanted this, and it's just like, well, yeah. And that's your lot in life. Whatever your lot is, no matter where you're at, we're all here, we're all there. What are we going to do now? What next, right? So you be love. You learn to be love, right? You wake up and you realize that there's more to all of it. It's not, and, if I say copy paste, like with people, right? It's like, how many mothers today are having are talking the same exact thing? You know what I mean? And it doesn't mean it's not important, you know what I mean? But when you look at it objectively and you say, like, wow, like, there's a bazillion mothers, they're all saying the exact same thing right today. Hopefully, there's, variance. And then you realize, like, you start to look at life in a different way. That's what awakening is. It's conscious awakening, and now you're seeing yourself and your life and how you impact the world and how the world impacts you, right? Not just within, like, the things you say, not just within the things. It's everything, right? Like, if you walk into a room and you're in a bad mood, your vibration is going to be broadcast to everyone. I think I was just saying this yesterday. If you tell a dog. If you look at a dog and you just go, you shouldn't have done that, and blah, 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 they're going to know, like, inherently, it's like, it's an energetic thing. You probably don't even have to say anything. You probably just look at it and it'll start to feel what it is that you're projecting to it, So when you come inside and you and you wake up inside to who you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it, right? Like I said, taking yourself out, like, copy paste, I'm doing it too, right? Like, I'm worrying about hopping on YouTube and what I'm going to talk about on YouTube, right? There's tons of people that are doing that too, so you have to take yourself out of yourself and get over yourself in the first place to ever be able to see the bigger pictures, the bigger, it's like, what happened with healthcare and the Obama thing when it was like, it's going to be good in the long run, but it's not going to be good in the short run. And I don't want to, like, discuss it. I really don't care, but, it's that, I think we should all have healthcare. I think that should be a natural, right? I mean, that's a good idea, and that's just where I stop. But, it's like, so so all the people that were mad initially, we're not seeing, like, like the bigger picture, because we're not getting over ourselves. You know what I mean? We're not taking care of ourselves, right? Like, if you are if you're banking on somebody else to, like, to save you or to, pay your bill, you have to bet on yourself. You have to, if the the economy's gonna collapse tomorrow, well, what do you have in reserve that you can, you know what I mean? Are you really spending money, right, on the things that you need and the things that are gonna sustain your life and prolong your life? Or are we just getting, the next thing, like, kids and toys, and then throwing them away after a week and never playing with it again, So it's like, when you wake up, to your soul, and you realize, we're all connected through everything, because everything's energy, then your whole world will eventually change. Let's see what else I wrote down. Yeah, it's all about realizing like there's a better way. Let's see. Everyone is. Oh, and this one was good too. So that's the thing is it's energy. Is that what we're coming to understand? Everything is energy. So everything has, even a rock. A rock is still moving. It's still vibrating. It still has its energy. So what was it? So it's like, it's like coming into a world where so many things. Get over it. Hey, William, I just saw it. Yeah, get over yourself, because that's when we really can help a lot more. But, I wanted to say too is, everyone, let me read it. I'm trying to put it in different words, but I'm just going to read it. So everyone, there's a lot of people out there that are talking about their experiences and what's happening, and like I saw someone post a video. It said, so-and-so's journey to hell and back. Some guy saying that he went to hell or whatever, and and then now he's back. I don't know, where he went, So, but what is that? That's, it's realizing like, where he went is all relative to him and his understanding, So it's all, what is hell, right? It's an energetic vibration that you are a mismatch to, right? Because it's going to offset your natural vibration. So if it's not going to feel, it's not going to, it's all perception. So when you interact with life in the form of energy, it's like how Spirit says they don't worry so much with names, they know each other by energetic feeling and representation, So it's like how people, they say their experiences, or some people say I'm an archangel, right? Or I'm the incarnation of this person, or I'm an incarnation of that person, right? I don't care. Right, like fine, good on you, right? That's great. Now what, right? What are we gonna do now? Like what else are we gonna, what? Okay, so why are you here? Like that's great. I don't care who you. But we live in a world. The old world mentality is like, oh, you think you're so special, like, oh, who are you to say this and say that? Well, exactly. Who's anybody to tell you what you need to do for you? Even God Himself could come down right now and say, hey, go do that. And I'm gonna go, I mean, I know you're God, but, I don't know if it feels right, because who's to say He's going to tell you to do what He's, nobody should be doing what anybody else is telling you to do in the first place, right? And of course, that goes into layers, we all are directly connected to God and to, source in life, but we're connected to everything. Because everything is energy, and like a lot of more common knowledge, I think, is how we're made up of the same molecules that are in in space. We're all made up of that same stuff, right? So we're connected. Why is the human race important? Because we have the DNA within us for so many generations of so many different beings, right? It's why we're connected to so many different beings in so many different ways. Maybe some more than others. It's why we have such ancestry and history and so much heaviness to come out from. It's and when you realize like who you are, our real history, where we really came from, how this whole consciousness thing works, you can't, that old world, that me, that, I want a new toy, it's like no one, Source doesn't care, it's like, or it does, and it totally wants you to have it and play with it, because Source, whether you say you can or you say you can't, Source is going to support you, so, and that's the thing, like, so that's why I said earlier, it's you getting over yourself, but you're getting over your human self, like, you're getting over yourself, but into like a greater sense of yourself, into a greater expansion of who you are really and what you're here to do and how this all works, because it's all, like I said earlier with veils, it's all those little nitpicky things, that annoy us, that make it seem like we're in this like, tough place all the time, and it's like, well, listen, if you didn't care about anything that was happening in your life, no matter how tragic it could be, you'd be okay. You know what I mean? And what that represents is an internal ability, skill, development, where you can go anywhere in life and you can be that loving person, right? And when we all do that, that's how we fix this place, right? It's not about, telling everybody else, like, you need to be like that, or you need to be, like, even I'm doing now, I want, I've said this before. I want you to be you, right? And to be free to be who you want to be, and to be loved. Like the people who say, I'm an incarnation of this or that. Okay, cool. Now what? That's great. I'm sure you are. Don't care, right? Like, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't. What are we gonna do now? It doesn't change anything until something changes or until something happens. So it's like there's that old mentality of like so many things of like title and entitlement, or I'm special, and and you're not special, or like because you look this way or you look that way, or you have this or you have that, and then into this place where I don't need anything, but yet I can meditate and I can travel the entire universe just from sitting right here. you know um and that changes the way you look at the world, because now when you're in your world now, you value everything that's around you. You appreciate every single little thing that used to annoy you, but now you understand that it's in your life and it's a part of your life, because it's an abundance of you. It's a gift. It's a part of you. If you don't want it, give it away. Give it to somebody, right? It's as simple as that. That's an act of giving. That's a great thing to do. Give it away for free. Have a garage sale. Put $5 or $1, whatever. Just get rid of it. And if you don't want it. But there's no reason. We should be living in such intense heaviness, but that's that old world with the polarity, with the 3D is swinging back and forth, good, bad, whatever. Because again, nothing is good, nothing is bad. It's all up to you to determine what it is. And that doesn't mean that things don't happen to you, of course, right? But that's why that's this place. But we came here for that reason, to influence it the way we are here to influence it, not the way someone else taught us to influence it in school, or not the way somebody, anybody taught us to influence. How many of us here in the whole wide world, not totally understood by your parents as a kid growing up? How many? Raise your hand. You know what I mean? Everybody, right? And hopefully not everybody, but a lot. And again, and not to say anything about that, the relationship parent, but it's the society is constantly trying to tell you what to do and try to mold you and try to tell you how to do it, right? But at the end of the day, what do you need to live? Food, shelter, whatever. That's all you need to survive. Companionship, hopefully some friendship, but we're so convinced through the mind and through the analytics that like, this is bad in this country, therefore now I need to be afraid for my own life. It's like we're jumping the gun. We're speculating way too much. Look at the viral. See you, Janine, if she's hanging off. Thanks, Jimmy. It's like the viral thing that's going around, whatever you want to call it, right? It's how much of it has actually, right, affected versus look at how much has been affected just from the fear alone. The fear itself is doing way more damage than the actual thing is. And it's not to say that people who get it, I'm not saying they're not getting it, right? But we're so caught up in our minds, in this world, in this reality, like that we allow to exist. And this is why it exists around us, because we're not changing this. We have to change the inside. So after you wake up, it's like everything comes into view. It'll all come into closer view. You'll understand what, the connections. What was it? That was my hand raised. Oh, hey, Gene. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to do questions, if we can get more participation. So feel free to pop them in, and it's just a few of us now. I'm still a newbie, so just throw them in there and I'll scroll up and I'll get to them. Because I'm just going to keep blabbing, Let me see. Oh, and so I wanted to talk a little bit about energy, and Buddha wanted to talk about, the silence and in the quiet space. So let me see. Okay, Buddha says, it's wonderful to be here with you all. it's very important that you all choose and use your discernment in choosing where it is you wish to reside. And what he means by this is in your entire being. He means your heart, your soul, your mind, all of it. If your thoughts are being stolen or hijacked in any way by something that is outside of you, then it's going to be a misalignment of you. So use your discernment to know what is right for you to take in and what is right for you to keep out. The place that he loves so much, that he resides in, he's through his meditation in that 0 point, in the silence and in the quiet. And it's from that place that you start to hear spirit, right? So after the awakening comes, it's so much more that comes, right? But to understand it using your old mind isn't gonna help, because we were wanting to do something new. And like is said in a common saying is, you can't do anything new or can't have anything or experience something new if you're doing the old stuff. So if we go through, if one goes through their life figuring things out, as this one was saying, and then stops, well, of course you're gonna grow stagnant. Of course your chi is stopped. You're slowing your chi down. You're going to get disease. You're going to get negativity is going to build up in you. It's going to fester. So life in the human, it's important to not think of it as you're here to just figure it all out, and once you have, now it's all over, because life is continuous. You are always learning. We are always learning. And there are always new levels and new experiences to have. Even one human life on your earth cannot experience all there is to experience, which I was saying recently too. So he's saying to join him. He's saying call on. He said you can call on me. Come join me in my quiet space, and it is from here that you will hear the entire universe, and it will be spoken to you through the subtlety of your being. He's giving me like it's not about your ears, right? It's not about it's not about your physical senses. It's your physical senses that keep us here, grounded in the physical reality. So opening up to the subtle realms, life after waking is opening up to the subtle realms. You're gonna start using parts of yourself that you haven't used before. So things are gonna come to you. This is why all the ascension symptoms come in. This is why all that stuff, because it's changing your body, because your mind is changing, right? So you can't, if you want to change, which we all do, and we all want better, you got to get out of who you think you are. You got to get out of, that ego, and it's not to say that the ego is bad. The ego is a dear friend and one that we love very dearly and is close to all of us. So it is important to not demonize anything, but to understand things, to look at a child and understand it did what it did because it didn't know, right? Or it thought it was the right thing to do, and that's how we grow. That's how you evolve. You can't get it if you got it. If you did it wrong your whole life and someone told you were doing it right the whole time, you'd never learn how to do it right. Okay, what does that mean? What is that? Right, so stop letting people telling you how to do things, because you already know how to do things, because you already are who you already are and who you are meant to be in this life. It's life, right? He's saying it's not about making yourself into molding what the outside world is. It's knowing you were already molded by source, infinite love and unity and oneness, and you were made from the stars, from pure energy, to be here in a physical body where we can interact with the world. I mean, look around you right now. How much of the stuff that's here on Earth, even though it's all alive, but like I'm in the room right now. I mean, all of this stuff is just sitting here. It's not moving at all. Look at what we can do. We can do everything on this Earth. Our bodies were meant to interact. Okay. So, okay. Right. And he's saying, and it is the source that is where you want to derive your power from, your sense of yourself from. It is your source. It is the source. It is, whatever you want to call it, the great spirit, God, creator, this and that. And it is from there that you will gain your sustained satisfaction. It's not from the outside world. This earth didn't create all the other earths that are out there. They were created on their own accord, right? So to assume that we can get any and all things just from one planet is a limitation in and of itself. And this is the big overarching point of awakening is you're going to understand why things are the way they are, but this has to come out with the truth, right? When you go inside, okay, what is he? Going inside allows you to ask any question and receive the appropriate answer for you instead of looking for the answer outside of yourself. We got a theme going on here, guys. Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, Jeannie, yeah, I hear that. I'm always raising my hand, man. I don't even know what's going on. So he was saying he wants me to talk about this. Okay. So he's saying from the center point, right? The atom is where it all starts, because it's like macro and micro. We can go smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's still a complete system. So then you go bigger and bigger and bigger, right? It's like the idea of how, they say pets have smaller hearts, so they have shorter lifespans, right? Well, why? Well, because the cycle, the revolution of their heart, the beating, it's faster, it spins faster. Their chakras, they burn them out faster. Okay, why am I saying this? Why are we talking about this? He's saying everything is related to energy, and if you want something, you have to want it with your entire being. You can't, and he's saying not to be in the state of want, but you have to know that you're a creator being and that you can have it as soon as you know that you can. It's there's so much other old world to be removed from our consciousness that we need to get rid of, because it's like being Batman, okay? And we were talking about this before. It's like kids, right? Like kids, they run around, I'm Batman, I'm Superman, I'm this man, that, right? No one argues with them, right? Right? Because no one cares, right? Just like I was saying earlier about people who say they're an incarnation of this or an incarnation of that, Okay, cool, that's great, You're gonna go play in the sandbox now, no, okay, I don't want to hang out with you then anyways. It's like, it's all relative. But kids are, nobody argues, with them when they say they're Batman or they say they're this or they say they're that, right? But then now look at a kid who said, no, you're not Batman, right? And then they get upset and they say, no, you're not, I am, and blah, 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 right? And that's that human, challenging and competition that ego says. But it's that idea that they live in a world where they still understand the power that they have to create. They understand the power of that kid who's saying, no, you're not. And he yells it louder. No, you're not. Right? Why is he doing that? Because he knows on a soul level that the power, right, that he can create. Now, we're here in the physical dimension, and so there's rules to this place, right? Otherwise, it'd be all out of whack, right? I mean, everything has a starting point, has a standard, has a structure, has a foundation, So there's rules here, and we got to abide by them. But when it comes to when you change it to like you're looking at the world from energy and as energy, and like they say, they don't care what their names are, they don't use them, they just know who people are because of their energy. Well, that changes everything, and it connects you to everything, because now you understand that my pain that I feel, whatever, is the same pain someone else feels in any other part of the world. And then we realize that we're connected. You realize that, what is the one? It's about the atom. You realize we all come from, we all use the same stuff, right? It's like we're all made of the same stuff. And a lot of things will change. I mean, it was tough when I was making, the title Life After Awakening, because there's so many things, but all of it is the old mentality, it's the old system, it's the old world that we're used to. It's like the veil, there's no veil but the one that you think is still there. If you still think this is hard to come by, if you still think, I don't want to get in a relationship because boys suck, or girls suck, or if we keep thinking these things. So Life After Awakening is really a moment where you get a real big, like realization of yourself. When you awaken, it's time for you to do some work, on yourself. There's that initial phase where all that stuff comes in, and then you're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And there's so much more to the world. And, and then so now you have to find the context, you have to learn, you have to see what's really happening. Why is it happening to you, right? But you can't keep that old human side, asking those questions, because then that you're just asking the old questions. And that's why it gets tricky when you're ascending or whatever, you're awakening, because it comes to that point where you're oh, so I'm just gonna visualize it and then it's gonna manifest right before me. Okay, well, I'm still waiting, and I'm still, and so it's like, so I'm the creator and I'm a creator being, but there's a lot of stuff I'd still like to create and it's still not here, so that it's like you get through the layers, right, that start to break apart your old thoughts and then into the new thoughts, because it's, you can old thought them over and over and over and over and over again, like, well, I'm, what's my higher self? Oh, it's me. Oh, okay, so then why is it my higher self? Isn't it just me? And then it's like, well, if you keep going the logic route, you're just going to get confused, because we have to, it's faith, right? It's and it's not even just faith, it's knowing. Once you get there, once like I said, what's magic to the magician? It's not magic, it's magic to everyone else, because they're not there yet, so when you get there, it becomes, it's not even about faith, it's not even about hope, because you are there and you know what it's about, and you know who you are, and you know what you're about, and you know what's going on in the universe, and you understand, hey, this person not so savory, that person extremely savory, right? And it becomes easy to go through life, and it's not so simple, or it's not so hard. It becomes simple. And what was it? And okay, and I'll save this one for later. Yeah, for everything I ask myself, is this me? And then feel into it. Yeah, that's perfect. That's what we have to do every single time. And it's those moments when we weren't doing that have built up throughout our lives. It's that moment when you're a kid or whatever, and you're just like, you didn't want to do something, but you did it anyways, and then even if nothing happened in that moment, you created a pathway for allowance of, for someone else to tell you to do stuff, or, you allowed yourself to do something you didn't want to do, with the guise of that it's important to do because someone else was telling me that, right? So, like, even on the most subtle level, you're changing your mentality. You're allowing people to control you, right? Like, and not to say it in, whatever kind of way, but that's literally what has happened. And that's what happens as kids naturally, because our parents have to raise us. So we are controlled, right? And so you get into that mode and you realize, like, and what happens every kid, right? Like, mom and dad are frustrating. They never let me do this. They never let me do that. I'm not a bad kid, mom. I just want to go out, like, I'm not, but then your mom knows, no, you're not going to that party. So it's like, but again, we all got to live our own lives, right? And so then look at yourself in that aspect. If you are a parent, how much are you really letting your kid, and I mean, it's like, it's such a different, world or whatever realm of existence, the higher realms than we're used to, allowing, but if you don't believe you're Batman, no one else is going to do it for you. So, what archangel or what incarnation or where you come from, whatever, I find it. That's going to be great. Like, I can't wait for you to find it, but are we getting the message, right? Or are we getting caught up in who we're supposed to be kneeling and bowing to, or are we just getting the message and loving each other and living in a world that we want to live in, where we can thrive, where we don't have to worry, about things. There's so many people in the world. I mean, look at what one farmer does. One farm, which I'm sure they have, a lot of, farm hands, whatever, but one farm feeds, like, look at all, how many people. If just each one of us did a little bit more, right? Like, we'd have way more than enough, like, in the whole entire world. So the sooner we all start coming back together and realizing this is our world. It's not some politician's world. It's not some other country's world. It's not just they're over there and I'm over here. We have to stop separating ourselves from each other. We need to stop, you're over there, I'm over here. Yeah, but whatever. Like, or, the color of your skin, or, what I mean? I don't want to get into the details, but you're in that country, I'm in this country. Yeah, your country sucks and mine's the only one. I'm in America, so freedom, yeah, and it's like, I've been in America. I'm still waiting. You know what I mean? So it's like, are you just listening to what people are telling you, or are you actually really seeing how you feel and, doing all that stuff? What is it? You can see you guys typing here. Doesn't matter who we are, it matters what we do. Exactly. Right. It's, and again, it's like, of course, all these things matter, right? It's like I said, like, get over yourself, but also to the point where you value yourself, like, where you can see without bias who you are, so what you can do and how you can help, and then you can be a better, you're learning to utilize yourself in a more efficient way. It's like anything, that it's like a tool. Our bodies are our tools while we're here to live, right? So don't put anything in them that's not going to help it live, and it's easy. It's easy when you can sense the feeling of love. When you say the word love, you feel love, right? When you say the word hate, it bites you, it feels so it's a no-brainer, right? We need to stop, there's too much, right? There's too many choices almost in, in the world. And it's like, we really just got to come back, sit down, shut up, and just like, and just sit there, and you're gonna feel great. Like, no matter how much you think you're not, I need to do this, I need to do that. If you sit just on some grass for like 30 minutes, and then you get up, you're gonna feel like amazing, right? And what is that? You didn't need to figure it out. You didn't need to analyze anything. You didn't need to study books. And well, I mean, we're all learning this type of stuff in our own ways. I mean, obviously we have to learn from books and whatever, but it's like, you didn't need to go to school for that one. Mama Gaia got your back from day one. Ride or die, Mama Gaia. As I'm going to put a, Mama Gaia, like this, ride or die, Mama Gaia, it's got your back. It'll be me. It'll be me. Yeah, the two guys with their backs, with their arms crossed, will be me, and then Mama Gaia will be the other one. But and no school necessary, right? So yeah, what was it? We're all playing we're all God playing all the different roles to experience itself. It's all good. Exactly. And that's, once you have that perspective, right, and you come out of that old, that's when you can allow, all these things to, to not affect you. You realize how multidimensional you are. You realize that you don't die, and that's a big one right there. Don't die. People, fear death. People are afraid to die. They're afraid to get, and all that's doing is creating that exact happening for them. That's going to end up coming. But we don't die. We don't, and once again, the kid who's Batman, how's he ever going to be Batman if he doesn't believe it? If he doesn't believe in himself. And what is Batman? Anyways, it's a concept that was created by a human mind, right? A human person thought of Batman. Okay, so who's really the real Batman? It's Stan Lee. Stan Lee, or wait, no, is that Marvel, DC? I mixed that up, right? Yeah, sorry for the fans. I don't want to mix that up, but sorry. Who's the original? Who's the real Batman, right? Like, it's not about, and that's that world where it's, who are you and why are you important and why should I listen to you? Well, I'm an expert and I got a degree and I got a this, and it's like, I don't care. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, if it feels resonating and if you're talking about something, then you're talking about something that I resonate with, and we should all be getting together and learning in that way, And it's like, not to say we shouldn't have experts. Yeah, sure. I mean, that's great too. If you got someone who's got years of experience, we'll definitely want that, But just because you have years of experience in one thing, it's like, how open to something new can you actually be, though? So, and then that's why, that's in business all the time. Fresh ideas, new people. Yeah, you've been doing it for 20 years, and you're an expert at it. But when it comes to the changing world, right? Like, you might have to step away from that. It's like technology in business, and we need less people. Robots are doing everything, and it's all, just efficiency. We all go towards efficiency. What can make my life easier? What can make my, this and that. Yeah. Does Buddha have anything? He's just saying, be the love that you are. And he's saying like, just remain free of distraction, and meditate, really, and however it is that you meditate, because there's all kinds of meditation, and even if you can only spare 5 minutes, or like I said, go outside, sit down on the ground, you only got 10 minutes, go sit on the ground, literally just sit. Don't worry about your pants. You're getting a grass butt stain on your pants for like, nobody's barely even going to see it. The grass doesn't stain that much. It usually washes out, but it's like, look at the things that we place in front of us, these barriers that we like, I don't want to go outside because, it's getting late and there's a lot of mosquitoes. Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, that's common, I mean, even I go inside sometimes when it's too many, but it's like, all that is a veil. All I did there was just limit myself. You know what I mean? So getting over yourself so you can see the true self of yourself. But I wanted to bring something cool here to this. I wanted to talk about something, with energy. So everything is energy, right? So what does that mean? Okay, so, well, everything is like a wave and a frequency. Okay, so if you think of like, if it all starts like an atom, right? So you have an atom, and an atom wants to communicate, right? So it sends a signal out, right? So you have a line, right, that shoots out, and then it hits somebody else, right? And now you have communication. Now either that person's going to receive it clearly or not, right? So through energy, we all communicate, right? And what's interesting is, after you wake up and you start to perceive everything as energy, you start to look at letters as energy. You start to look at numbers as energy, and all things as energy, right? So it's like, just the word WORD, right? Well, look at the way that the energy is moving through the word. Look at the direction that the communication is being sent, right? So even if you take it in a crude way, you know, like we all communicate through using energy and sending energy and signals, right? And the crude way would be, what's a W, right? Well, we know it as a W, right? Because we understand the communication of it. We understand its purpose. We understand why and what it represents within our structure, right? But now remove, taking yourself out, removing yourself from yourself, right? From what you think you already know. And now look at the W, right? What does it look like? Just looks like some angled lines, right? It looks like, if anything, it looks like some kind of graph that's starting to go off, that's going up and down, right? So as you start to notice the energy of things, you can sense what it's saying to you in another kind of way. And I'll probably do a little something on that. Metatron and I work with, he helps me with a lot of the sacred geometry stuff, and colors and shapes and sounds and all this stuff, and so I try to portray that through him, and it's like, what is it? What are you saying? Always put time in every day to accomplish your life's purpose, no matter how much time it is. Yeah, exactly, Nicole. Because then spirit knows that that's what you're doing. Life after awakening is realizing every thought you have, they hear it. You know what I mean? Waking up means like, hey, hi, you. It's the perfect analogy. You woke up and you looked around and everyone's here. It's like, and not everybody, we can go portals and different realms and, like stuff like that. But, waking up is realizing how important you really are. But at the same time, how small we've been chalking life up to be, right? I see all information as good, because it gives us a chance to discern and use our intuition. Yeah, exactly. Words are sound vibrational complexes. Exactly. Okay, what was the one? Okay, so when I was working on this, I was talking Buddha, what came through was the feeling of how they communicate in the subtle realms, right? So you have to learn to develop those other senses. So the subtle things are going to start to pop up more and more and more, and these are going to be your abilities, and they're going to start coming in more and more and growing as you open your third eye, as all this stuff starts to happen, but what I want to say is a good point to remember is that idea that, so when you are looking in a mirror and you're getting ready in the morning and you're asking something, if this is what you should wear, who are you asking, right? And so who is that person? What's that aspect of yourself that you're talking to, that you're waiting for approval from, and you're the only one that's there? Now, when you get your approval, now, not to go past it, when you get that approval, how do you know that you got that approval? Who gave you that approval if it wasn't already you? And where did it come in from? Did you have to write down the pros and cons, and did you have to, analyze? And I'm sure you did some of that, like, oh, this is shorter, this is longer, whatever, that's all part of it. But when you got that feeling like, good, it was a feeling that came into you from your soul, that your soul sent to you, that said, yeah, that's what we wanted, that's what we want to wear, that feels good, right? That's an intuition. You're learning to, you start to awaken to the fact that everything around you is alive. The energy around you is alive. This camera, this phone thing, whatever, is alive, right? This wall behind me is alive. Why? Because it's a wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, people say, oh, it's just a wall. What do you mean it's just a wall? You just described the entirety of its whole being. It's a wall. why is that anything less than something else? I mean, yeah, if you compare it to other stuff, it's not going to be the same because it's not, right? But this is alive behind me. This is alive. There's molecules, there's vibration, there's energy, there's existence. It's here. It's alive. It's alive right now because it's here, right? So what are we defining, what's alive and what's not alive? So the tree's alive, but then once you chop its arm off, it's dead. Well, it's not really dead because it's still right there, right? But again, it's just relative. I mean, yeah, it's dead. Like it's not going to continue to grow per se, but that's not to say that it couldn't, because if I mean, I've grown plants back from nothing but like dried up sticks, stems, just right out of them because I knew the root inside was okay, but it's like just because, and I think roses, if a lot of times you get roses for gifts and stuff, if you snip them at an angle and then you dip them in honey and you put them in like the proper soil and environment, just the rose, it can start to grow again. You'll get a rose bush out of it, and I was looking that up. So what is the point of this? I'm getting totally off track here. Hopefully that rounds up what I was saying. I think I got lost there talking about roses. I got excited on flowers and Mother's Day. It's that energy. It's all energy. When you start looking at it, energy, you don't see the dead thing, right, as dead. You see it as filled with decayed energy, right, or whatever you want to call it, right? But you awaken to the fact that this world is all yours and to play in as much as you possibly can. So it's really it's a tough jump, but the thing is we're all going to be doing it. Everyone's going to be doing it. Everyone's going to be trying to bring the old world with, and we can't. And so really having these spaces of love and these discussions of love is going to be crucial. That's why Spirit always says, whoever you are, no matter who you think you are, start talking. Start get on YouTube like I did, and just and freak out over seeing yourself on YouTube, but then what happens? You get over yourself, right? And now all I care about is like sharing useful stuff, but it's like, but then there's no way that I could know what everyone in the entire world, could possibly, so this is why we have to share, we have to, more people talking, right? The more people we're going to reach, the more people, and not even like reaching, we're not trying to convert people here, but the more people are going to understand what they're going through because of what we went through, because we were able to share it in a way that they were able to understand it, so, and once we do that, when it's really going at it and the world is doing this, we're all going to love each other. It's going to be fantastic. Life after awakening is fantastic when everyone else is awake, but when you're still here and a lot of people aren't awake, it could be some work. You realize like that's why I keep coming here, right? Because we got work to do, but you're here, so you got something to offer, right? Whatever that is. That's why it's, just talking about this stuff. We've gone so far away from talking about these things that it seems silly to do so. It seems silly to, it's like, what do they say? In relationships, when you start dating someone, they say, don't talk about religion or, politics. Don't talk about that stuff right away because you're going to freak people out. No, that's exactly what we need to be talking about right away. The very first thing, because I'm not going to spend 4 months into this and then figure out, your different religion. Oh, well, good try. Okay, see you later. That was a waste of 4 months, and not like it's a waste. Nothing's a waste. Which Jimmy made a point of. Said up there earlier. What is it? What did you say it, man? All information is good, right? And that's and that's what you realize too, is anything that's happening to you is happening to you because it's exactly what should be happening to you. If you're finding resistance, it's because you don't like that something. It's just telling you. That's all it is. It's easy. It's easy. We totally overcomplicate things. But yeah, I wanted to get more into the vibrations and the energies and the connections and the words and all that stuff. But we'll get there. We're getting there as we go. But it's understanding, that idea that, we know it, it's communication, however it is, it's and everything is communicating with you constantly, right? Like when you look, like I'm looking out the window, and I see the reflection off the car, or whatever, the tree, that light is coming in me and it's talking to me, right? But we don't live in that world where we say that, like, hey, how was your day yesterday? Oh yeah, like, yeah, the sun came down and came up into my third eye, and then I did some breathing, and then I moved it down to my sacral chakra, and then it just blew. Like we don't talk like that, but it's happening. It's happening all the time. We talk about it in simple ways, like science. We say go outside, get some sunshine, it gives you vitamin D. Okay, cool, right? Why do we need vitamin D? Well, that's important for the body's functions. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna go outside and it gets right. So that's easy for us to understand, right? So it's the more complicated stuff, so it's more complicated in the beginning, but as you start to familiarize yourself with it, it all becomes a lot easier, because now you're looking at it in the right way. You're looking at like archetypes, right? Like, because what is all of this stuff? It's all just a hologram, right? It's all, so if we're spiritual beings, if God's God, already God, and then he wanted to go experience stuff and try some stuff out, well, he's sending a part of him. He's sending an aspect of himself. You know what I mean? It's if he's living through us, well, then he's allowing himself to be trapped in fear. You know what I mean? He's allowing, right? So you think, well, why would he do that? And why this, why that, right? It's all just, it's a game. It's like a game, right? Like, it's like, and it's not to say that it's not real, because it's very real. It's very physically real, but it's very much, it's just particles. It's like light. If you understand that the reason why, what do they say, that you can see us is because the light hits us and bounces off of us. Because if we were light or something, like, I'm saying this wrong, the sun, it would go straight through us. We would be transparent if we were, okay, so yeah, embodying the light, right? That's all. Buddha's just like embodying the light. He's just like he's like, just keep going, it's all part of it. Right? So that's funny. Yeah, so the more of us we can just talk like the relationship, like, I don't care, who you're worshiping to, or whatever, but I mean, I care about the degree. What depth are you? Are you banking your whole life off someone else, or are you here in this relationship with me? Or are we bringing other gods being into this? Because now you're that's not you talking for you. That's you. That's a lot of other people in this relationship that I didn't want to get involved with. What's going on? Yeah, it's that energy. You start to look at things, and you understand the connection between a tree and that guy that you just talked to down the street. You understand why this person is making you think of elderberries right now, because you just watched Monty Python or something, or whatever. You start to put the connections together, and then you start putting them together inside yourself. So you have to be able to look at yourself objectively, and all the people in your life and all the things in your life that aren't here to make you upset. That's not why they're here. Life is not out to get you, right? Life is here for you to master, right? Life is here constantly telling you that it's your opinion that matters. Something happens to you, you get upset. Who matters in this? You do. All the time. Life is constantly reflecting back to us who we are and what we we would want to do. And our emotions and our feelings are telling us, there is communication happening all the time. So life after awakening is mind completely open. to everything, right? Like a kid, he's Batman. Why? Because he wants to be. That's it. That's it. Right? But now if you compare it and you say, like we did earlier with the comparison, if you compare the wall to something else, well, yeah, it's not going to be that. If you compare this kid who says he's Batman to this Batman, obviously he's not. Well, who's this Batman? This Batman is the conceptualization. This Batman is the rode down black outfit, pointy ears, you know what I mean, is rich, is Bruce Wayne, like, I mean, not, cross that out, nobody knows. It's, so no, you're not going to compare it to, it's not going to work that way, right? So, it really is, it's like, it's coming out of limitation into the freedom that we've always wanted, the joy, the wonder, the excitement, coming back, bringing it back, right? Bringing sexy back. Jimmy says, wait, hold on, go. Words are sound. Yep. That's why they would tell me to watch your thoughts when I drift off. Yeah. Because it's so programmed mentally, like it's so easy to just, and, I think I said that in, with our group, Nicole, this round, or one of the, Pat, where it was where you'll get to that place where you can, enough positivity over and over and over and over and over again. Why do we have the negativity, right? Because we keep trying, and for some reason, it keeps falling apart, or something's not working, So we've been reinforced to think negatively, So when something good happens, you're waiting for the proverbial foot to drop, right? Or you're waiting, this relationship, they're going to be like that, probably, right? No more of that. No more of that. You don't need to do that in order to move forward in your life. It's important to know our past and learn from our past, but you don't need to sum it all up and figure it out as a kid in the past. Now I got it figured out. Now I'm not going to figure, what I mean? No, you got to grow. You got to keep moving forward. You got to keep changing, But it'll get to that point once you reinforce yourself with the positivity, then your go-to is that much easier, because it'll bounce you back into positivity. And it's like, oh man, that was terrible, but I know it's going to be great, Like, why? Just because I'd rather feel this way, So whatever your reason, I mean, you got a reason to do it, So yeah, I don't know. I think you should do it, because I do that too when I drift off. It's easy to, or like if I'm at work, and then I'm just thinking of things, and it's because I've learned how to do the job. I've learned, so it's really easy to find yourself there and then working in that horizontally. So, you want to go up again, so you're raising your vibrations, ups, downs, and then you get to a place, and then you balance out, you center out in that realm, right? And then you familiarize yourself with everything, 5, 6, 7 D, whatever D's you're going, and then, so then you're human, you come back down, right? Like you have to jump down, because now you got to talk to people, or you're in an environment that is still very polarity, is still very hot and cold. You still got a lot of, and then so you have to take yourself back up, and so it's like you learn to navigate, and you learn to be multidimensional, and you realize that a dimension is, all the dimensions are right here, right now. They're, it's not some other place. It's right here, right now. Like if I started crying right now, for some reason, I decided something that was sad and I started crying, that's going to bring me into a lower dimension, a lower vibrational realm of existence. So you realize that it's not such a crazy thing to be multidimensional, right? It's not such a crazy, these, what is magic to the magician, right? It's real. It's all real, and it's happening to all of us. But until we talk about it and put the context, the pieces together, we're all just going to be, the one guy, like I said, the one I saw the post, he's, my journey to hell or whatever, and then how I got back, and it's like, I loved it. Like, I want to know what he experienced, I want to know what it was like for him. But how much does he understand of where he actually went? It's like we're trying to figure it out from the limited side, or it's like everything is possible. And then now we got to figure out what exactly we're experiencing out of everything that's possible, because if you say, like, oh, well, hell exists and this is what hell's like, because we have it written down. We already know what hell's like, right? Because it's written down somewhere. It's written down in a lot of books, all different kinds of hells. And that's the point, is it's like, where exactly did he go? He's a multidimensional being. He could have gone to a lot of different places. And was it hell or was it paradise? Was it his perspective on it? Did he see the color red and feel heat and hear fire and all of a sudden he thought it was bad? Or did he step into the flame and transmute and feel and then it turned purple and it was a sacred violet fire? You know what I mean? It's infinite, it's not limited. So we have to talk more about this stuff, and it'll come, and it's already here, it's coming. But a lot of it, it's like, it's life after awakening, right? That's kind of why I wanted to title it that. It's like, it's way over here. It's why the spirit, the beings, they say we got to go up to them. It's why they can't just keep coming down. If they kept coming down to Earth, then we'd all just be sitting around on Earth, not knowing where to go, because no one's still up there, or whatever. He left his post, so now we're all, we have no lighthouse or something. Excuse me. I think you should do a live in a Batman costume sometime. Dude, I totally will. I want to do, like, next Halloween, I'm going to dress up, and then I'll be it. We'll do Halloween. That'll be fun. Just being yourself and expressing yourself freely, it seems to give permission to others that they can do the same, to express and embrace their uniqueness. Exactly. And the reason that is because they're asking someone else for permission to be how they need to be, right? So essentially, that's what we have to all stop doing, But it's better that, it can be us, it can be people who actually care and have love and want to see a loving world and want to be a part of that we can do it for them. And this is why it's going to shift. This is why, we're all needed, all the, light workers and whoever, it's why we're all going to be needed, because we're going to be the ones that are going to allow the most unsavory of unsavory people to redeem themselves. And I'm using these words, whatever the case is, we're going to allow that. But we have the experience now to know when homie don't play that. You know what I mean? Like, because there's that line, because they always, the timelines and whatnot, they talk about how the earth got hijacked, whatever, but it got what was it? Like they got tricked, like the light beings got tricked, and they thought that they were going to help and they probably didn't, right? So they slowly infiltrated, whatever. So now we have that awareness, we have that history, and we have that understanding. So now we're, instead of, we're going to be able to make that discernment. So why did we have to learn this stuff? Why did we have to come here? Why did we want to come here? There's a lot of reasons, and that's definitely one of them. There's a big history here on Earth. It's not just, a couple thousand years. It's, I think, what did George Carlin was cracking up. I don't know if I said this in the last one, but he was real funny when he said, saving the planet. He's like, saving the planet? He's like, what are you talking about? He's like isn't human meddling how we got to this polluted place in the first place? Like here's this pristine Earth. Now let's go make some more shopping malls and apartment complexes or whatever. But he, the way he was saying was like, the Earth's been here 5 billion years, or whatever. It's going to be here another 5 billion years. It's going to be long after you're gone. Okay. So, the Earth is fine. Okay. The people are, and he said effed, so that was really funny. So this idea of saving the planet, and I'm not saying we shouldn't be doing it, but it's like, the reason I'm saying is because, like, then you get into the split Earth and you get into the multidimensionalities of all the Earths, and then, and why we're here on this one, right? And why is this one important, right? Because it's the center point, it's the living library they used to call, where this Earth could house all different types of beings and all different types of energies. So it's why this place is so coveted. If you can tell one thing about Earth is that a lot of people are interested in this place, but when you get into so it's like, where do you want to go? Where do you want to vibrate? So you want to change the world? Well, change yourself. Don't, the world's going to be fine. Let the world be the world. right? You change yourself, and then you wake up the next day and you're in a different realm. You're still on Earth, right? You're still within the you're within the energetic bubble, right? Whatever, I don't know how you want to, I want to confuse, but like you're still here. You wake up in your bed, but you're in a different time zone. You're in a different timeline. You're in a different, whatever you want to call them, right? Which again, it's like there's so much vocabulary to learn too. Yeah. Yeah, I'll totally do a Batman costume. I don't know if I'll do Batman. I'll do somebody. Okay, yeah, that's it. Just being yourself and expressing yourself freely. Yeah, exactly. To embrace their uniqueness, and that's the whole point. Is it's like I saw Abraham Lincoln quote, where he said, it's the people run the world. The government doesn't run the world. It's the people. It's our world. Well, at least America, right? He's talking about, where that's in the Constitution, that we have the right to overthrow at any point in time if we feel like it's unjust. So what has their agenda been? To separate us and to divide us. United we stand, divided we fall, right? So it's like, as soon as we just start coming together, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be as awesome as it is that I love to do these lives. It's going to be as awesome as that I love, working with people, in other ways. It's as awesome as I love hopping on YouTube when I'm, and listening to your guys' videos. You know what I mean? Like, I love this stuff, and once we start loving, and we're just, it doesn't matter if I'm Batman or if you're Lady Batwoman. I don't know why I want to say lady. It doesn't matter. It's and even in that case, wouldn't you want it to? Wouldn't you want to be able to be that like it doesn't matter, but but isn't that the freedom that we all want of being here, to be who we want to be, to experience life, to try things, to try, I'm Batman. Okay, well, what, like I said, does that mean you're checking the boxes of all the requirements that is Batman, which is determined based off of some standardized, some Batman or whatever, or am I just going to say I'm Batman? I'm just going to run around. And then who's Batman? It's me, right? Well, you can't be Batman. Well, why not? Because Batman has a car and flies. Well, he doesn't fly, but he like floats. Can you float? And say, well, no, but I'm still Batman. Right? You be you. You be you. You be your version of Batman. And then it it goes beyond that. You don't need to be Batman, right? Because that's not what you're trying. But it's we're taking we're idolizing. We're taking archetypes. We're taking examples of beings and stuff all around us, and then wanting to embody them within ourselves. But it's that knowing that you already embody it, because that's why you're attracted to it in the first place. So why do you? Now it's I'm Batman. Okay, why do you want to be Batman? Why do you need to be Batman? What is it about Batman that makes you want to even be him? Right? What is it about, and so this whole awakening, it's like, it's just going to be a lot, I think, for a lot of people, and we really just got to have the context going. So yeah, I'll be here every Sunday. Last week I had off. I'm going to be moving, soon. So, next 2 months or so. So, I'll try to get on for sure every Sunday, because I love doing this stuff. But I'm excited. I'll have a lot more free time to do a lot more stuff and really settle into this, all this stuff that I want to teach and I want to share, and even just podcasts or something like this. I'd love to hop on with any of you guys, or whatever the case. Like, I just want to blow this stuff wide open. Like, I just want to live here, like, I mean, I'm already living here. It's living in the heavy, the 3D place that none of us really care for, right? Like, because, you go up to the higher realms, well, you still have your family, you still have your pets. They're still here. You know what I mean? It's letting the ick go away. If it doesn't feel good, why would you want it? And because we've convinced ourselves that it's what we need. We've convinced ourselves because we read it, in a science magazine, or and that's not to say that they're not, that science isn't learning what science is learning, but it's all coming together in a really big way, and it's really exciting. So I don't know, I think I'm done, unless Buddha has something else to say, or if anybody has any questions. I'd love to do that too. Get into the questions, because then there's just that's just better. That's how we, that's how we all learn. Let's see. Buddha is saying that in yourself you'll find yourself, and with yourself you'll have everything that you've ever needed for yourself, because everything that you already are was created to be and to give and to provide for you everything that you could ever need in this life. And it's important to note that when you understand what is truly important, a lot of other things will fall away. And because it is one thing to be addicted to something, it is another thing to enjoy. It's like alcohol. It's one thing to feel a need for alcohol all the time versus, like once a month or twice a month or something, you gather up with some friends and you have some drinks, and eventually at some point, vibrationally, you might not want to do that ever again. I can't even think of the last time I did that. It's been a really long time, like years for me. But it's your oyster, right? So it's like you have to, and that's the paradox. You have to take yourself out so you can put yourself back in. But you're not putting yourself back in. It's so you're like allowing yourself to be that which was meant for you to be. It's already within you. And you have to find it yourself. He says you can use outside examples, just like with this right now, just listening to somebody talk, or read something, but know what it means for you. Know it's different having someone else heal you and then healing yourself. It's different in hearing someone talk about a subject that helps you understand and heal, and can heal a topic or an area around your life, make you feel better. But if until you learn to do that for yourself, you're always going to need that other person, And so he's saying, it's self-reflection. It's all about self-reflection. He gave me I thought of the Maslow hierarchy of needs thing, and then it's like, bottom is like your survival, and then you keep going up, and then the top, it's like self-actualization. And that's you realizing who you are in your life and why you're here and all that stuff. And so that comes from you having the perspective of your soul and your spirit and knowing you're human and why you incarnated. And you can know all of these things once you get familiar with you and not anybody else. The hustle and bustle of the world that we live in is it makes it harder for people to meditate, but that just goes to show how far away from being at peace and being allowed to enjoy a state of peace that we have allowed ourselves to get to. After this is me, after some time of talking or of meditating, you find you want to meditate, like you have to meditate. Like I think in the beginning it's like you have to, right? Because it's healing you or whatever, it's clearing you out. And then it gets to a point where if you don't, it's like you need to meditate. So, just like before where you're negative, we're trained to be negative, we're trained to be busy, we're trained to not have enough time for anything. So how am I let alone going to have time for meditation, especially when it's just sitting there and doing nothing, right? But it's that exact place of detachment from anything around you that allows you to be completely free. And once we start to value the way that feels inside of us more than the way our physical senses feel, that's going to change the game. Because when you are experiencing anything externally, it is still a trap. And what he means by this is, okay, he's giving me the example that they say in Taoism, Taoist masters or whatever, yogis, whatever, they would say, they say how, even happiness, right, is a trap. Even happiness is an imbalance. Too much happiness is it's not balance, right? Good, bad, whatever, happy, sad, positive, negative, balance. We have to be the balance. So even if so thinking like, oh, I need more laughter in my life, which that never hurts. I mean, I'm not, that's probably a bad example, but they're saying anything that you're attached to in any way, your kids, right? Your spouse, anyone, anytime you are attached to anyone, you're not free. You're not truly free, which is why this concept of true freedom comes when you're like, in the quiet place, or you're meditating, or when there's nothing else going on around you. But look at how hard it is for us to allow ourselves to do that, because we're so used to this physical realm, this physical world, where we got to be doing this, doing that, doing the other. So, okay, so yeah, this is why all of your answers are inside yourself. They're all right here, because they're your answers. They're not someone else's answers, right? So you can't ask someone else for your answer. It'll never happen, and it'll happen in part, and so okay, so that's right. So that's why we share, and that's why it's important to share, and not just like the end all be all. We're sharing what we experience. And I'm not judging you for doing that. I'm not judging you for your experiences. I appreciate, like Jimmy said, it's not good or bad. It's just here so we can learn. It's not, the point isn't being right. That's not the point. But if that is your point, well then, then again, you're trapped. You're trapped, because now you have to be right, or now you have to, instead of just experiencing something, sharing it with the world, and letting people, put their 2 cents on it. Sure, that's what it means for you. Great. I hope it was positive. But that's not your, you know what I mean? That's their responsibility. And so once we all take responsibility inside, when you have no attachment, that's when you're truly free. Because there's no cords anywhere, and your whole entire being is circling, your heart is inside of your body and your mind, and it's you, and it's you, and it's you, and it's you, and it's no one else. Screw the world that's around me, right? It's you, and it's you, and it's you again, and it's you again, and it's you again. And when you do that, it's that's when it's powering yourself up, but always believe in yourself. Always believe in yourself, even if you don't know why or how. Because like was said earlier, there are people out there, there are beings out there that are valuing your energy. Right? Don't give any energy to anybody that doesn't deserve it, and not deserve it, but you know what I mean? It's being service to yourself so that you can be service to others, but also knowing when to say no, because you have to do that. You have to, and that's okay, not feeling obligated to everyone else. I used to have that, I know some people that are the type, where they when they offer you to like come over for dinner, like if you say no, then like they make you out to be the bad guy, It's like, it's like, well, I mean, I didn't even want to come to dinner in the first place, or it's like it's really weird. Like it's not putting it on, other people to like, I don't know. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but that's what's going to happen. That's what we're going to be doing, especially with people as they're all waking up, everybody else waking up. They're going to go through the same stuff over and over, over and over. Like I said, copy paste. copy paste, copy paste. We all think our lives are important, but in the big picture, you're just another, we're just another number. But again, that's not important. Why is it us that got to incarnate? So you take yourself out and you see it and you go, oh, okay, cool. Like this is how I can affect the world. This is how I can help, right? And in a big way. And you get over your fears, like hopping on YouTube. Never would have thought I'd be doing this, ever. Even spiritual stuff, never thought I would be. And so you kind of step aside and then you let life, and it's a much more enjoyable experience when you go with the flow of life. And you just stop, because anytime you resist, oh, I wanted to do that. Well, now you're getting stuck. Now you're digging yourself in. I'm getting frustrated. I'm more and more frustrated, and this is why. And these thoughts verify why I should be frustrated. And you're digging yourself deeper, And it's just like, no. You gotta stop trying to justify it all. Stop trying to, right? And know that because and that's what I wanted to say too about knowing, which I'm glad this came up, is life after awakening. There comes a point when you go from asking the questions to knowing, and the difference is human and spirit. So the example I'll give is when I was first practicing channeling. This was a year ago or so, a couple years, whatever, and it was me and Jesus, and I was trying to channel Jesus, and he kept saying, like, and I was outside, I was sitting on the grass, I was, in my lotus, whatever position. I can't do the feet up, so it was just whatever, cross-legged, and then he just, I was like, is it you? Is it really you? I feel you coming in this way. I feel you coming in, you feel like this. What if, you feel similar to Archangel Michael? They kind of come in my left side, and I get that energy when they come, but then it's different, and Jesus, he'll go towards the heart center back, there's little nuances, right? But when I was learning, I was like, how do I know that it's you? And I got frustrated, right? And then he just, like, in my mind, in my third eye, right, he grabbed me and he was like, because you've been talking to me the past 30 minutes, like, he's like, it was one of those, like, and it was hilarious. And I just started cracking up, but my human was going through the motions of being like, how do I know? Well, you're not going to know based off of what we call knowing in the human world. It's not going to come to you in that way. So you go from asking the questions, right, and then getting the answers from spirit yourself, but you know the answer. So what's the difference? It's the fact that you, in that moment with me, I knew it was Jesus Christ, and I knew that the whole time. I knew it the entire time, but I couldn't, for some reason, I was blocked. My human was blocking me, was not allowing me to, because I was looking for all the past references and all the examples and how can I determine this, right? But you can't, because it's a subtle realm. It's different. So what is knowing? Knowing is, I knew it was JC already, but if someone were to ask me, my human would have got flustered. You know what I mean? And my human would have been, oh no, this, right? And I mentioned this too, I think just yesterday with the group. When I was, I don't know when, maybe it was the last week one, whatever. When I was watching a video, I got the intuition, somebody came in and they said, these are the Hathors. So I'm watching people on YouTube, their videos, their channels. There's actually two of them. And they're not doing spiritual stuff, but something totally otherwise related. But then they came in and they said Hathors. So I said, like, how do I know that? Right? How? How can I possibly verify that? They probably don't even know what a Hathor is. You know what I mean? They probably have no idea. So then you can go into what I did as I did my verification. I did you can ask spirit for, to send you signs and signals, and to verify that that's what I actually heard. But it was the fact that I even had to question it. There's knowing, and then there's I guess, your human knowing, right? Or you're human, what you're thinking, what you're trying to figure it out. But then when Spirit's talking to you, right, it. It's like, how they come in, how are people hearing, Jesus, right? He's not a physical being with a voice box that's talking into your ear. You hear it, but you hear it subtly. You're not really hearing it. So when you're looking for it, and you're looking in all these other realms and all these other ways, you really got to stop and be like, wait, I kind of already know that they're the Hathors because you just told me that they were. It's like there's a difference in knowing. There's no doubt when you know because you know it. And when you go into like a multi-dimensional existence, an infinite existence, and you realize like your knowing is truth because it's your truth. So whatever you know is true, period. It's not for someone else to come along and say, hey, blah, 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 this. No, you're wrong. Like somebody walks up and says, what's the name of my deceased uncle? And then you get some name and it's the wrong name. Well, what timeline are we talking about? What dimension are we talking about? What parallel universe are we talking? You know what I mean? There's a lot of things, right? So, a lot of, the debunkers of spiritual debunker people, like let's debunk the mediums and let's debunk, or, I'm sure they're out there, it's they don't understand the infinite of everything, how everything is possible and anything is possible. Why? Because God, hello, why would it not all be possible? If we got to stop thinking, in that limitation. Been there with the frustration and eventually decided to just trust. And since then, no more frustration. Exactly. As soon as I do it too. I did it the other day. I got home from work and I was hoping I'd have, some time or whatever, but I didn't, and people come home, and then and so whatever. So then, and I felt the frustration, and then, but so I came upstairs, I laid in the bed, and then I just I did a little meditation, I just centered myself, and I said no, because this is not who I am, and this is not how I want to feel. Like I love these people in my life. I love everyone around my life, right? Like that's who I am, and that's what I'm here to do, and here to show people. So that was frustration come up easily, but you have to take your personal side out of it. It's that trust, like trusting that everything's fine. Like there's not even a reason for me to be frustrated. I just wanted to have nobody home, is what it was. I didn't want anybody in the house, but I got two people aside from me right now living, staying here. So it's, it usually doesn't happen. And so how come, regular every day, like it's totally fine. Go, we're used to it every day. But then that one point in time when you needed something to be a certain way, right? Because you thought it was going to be. So what happened? So I come up, I clean my chi, clear myself out, go back downstairs. We had a blast. We start, I love you. We're talking, it's like, everything's home, everything's going on, what we're going to do for dinner. It's like, it all just starts happening again. And you stop like this, that's that old mentality. That's that old, like, I need this, that, and the other in order to be happy. But how about you just be happy first? And then it doesn't matter what comes your way. That's what we need to be doing. That's the goal. That's the college we need to be all going to. How to be happy no matter what. That's something to learn. Like, because that will take lifetimes, Like, that's why we keep coming back. Except we keep erasing our memories. So we gotta, and again, that just goes to show that's why you have to connect to yourself inside. In who you are. What round are you on Earth? How many times have you even been here yet? Like, and why you keep coming back? So until you can get out of your human life, you're not even gonna get close to how many times you've had alive, to how many, there's practitioners out there, the quantum hypnosis healing therapy, QHHT or whatever, I see those, and when people are talking about their lives, all these different lives, and it's like, oh man, cool, you were that, you were this. What about the million more lives that they had? What about the, and so people, oh, what do you mean you're on this planet? And yeah, right, yeah, right. It's going from, this little bit of life to just, what are we trying to do? We're trying to be God or what? We're trying to be, what are we trying to do here? Are we going to do it or are we not going to do it? Worrying about politics, worrying about religion, worrying about, societal structures. And again, we're going to have these things because they're natural byproducts of us being here, but we're going to structure things like, so it's natural, but are you going beyond it? Life after awakening is getting out of yourself and then getting out of that self and then getting out of that self, because you still always have another higher aspect to connect with and to gain the perception of, and that'll allow you to, that's how you're going up or down. So, it doesn't, it's I want to be God. Okay, what do you think God wants to do? Like, he's trying to go up again. He's trying to be even more, right? But I would imagine, okay, for him, it's how much little stuff, like, because, all of us, and so we're all pieces, and so he's, can't even begin to imagine that, right? Like, what is that like? But it's there. She, it exists. We know it does. I mean, it's around us all the time. We can feel it. Something's there, So it's like, and what is it? You just go, you keep going beyond. You keep getting over yourself. Like, you get over your human, and then you're into your higher self, and then you're like, well, now it's time to get over my higher self and what he thinks he can, all this, and now it's time to see the, the oversoul. What does the oversoul really want, and why are there so many of us here, right? And then that's only the oversoul of this dimension and this particular space, right? This solar system, whatever. What about all the other ones? What about all the? It's huge, guys. It's huge. And all we're thinking is, like, 2,000 years, or whatever, Like, it's funny that we have like a BC, like, why don't we just keep counting? Like, who was counting from negative to hit zero so that now we can count to positive? That just doesn't make sense at all. Like, who's before Christ? Okay, that's great. Whatever. Like, like, doesn't really make a difference. It's just how we determine. It's like language. We have to use it so that we can communicate. But what is the communication? What is the feeling behind it? When you're looking in the mirror and you're like, all right, I'm looking good. Let's go. Who told you that? Who was the feeling? Who go? It's like, it's always beyond. It's always beyond. And it's a wonderful world. So I didn't want to say, life after awakening, it can be tough, because it can be initially, but eventually it's so much fun, it's like, because you realize it's all you. It's like, it's everything that you've ever wanted. And the reason why you get upset because you're not getting what you want, right? Because it's your life, and so it's waiting for you, and so, again, are you wanting the thing or are you wanting to be happy? You know what I mean? And then that's how it opens up, because now you're happy. So now you can be happy with everything else around you, and you don't got to worry about what it is, where it's coming from, what time it got here, how much free time do I get before they get here, and then, and you just start, you love everything instead. It's not about, becoming spiritual isn't about less, it's not about this, this, I don't know what people think it's about, like some scary unknown place, and that's because, we grew up as kids and we were afraid of the dark, or we're afraid of this or afraid of that, and we have to get over that, it's like I was saying earlier, these little moments in your life where you allowed that person, you went in that person's direction because they really wanted you to go, it's like, it's up to you to be the ruler of your life, as best as you can, and it's silly to be unrealistic and say like, I want to fly, like in my human body. And it's like, well, we don't have the wingspan, I'm sorry. I'm sure we can get there with enough practice, meditation, enough energy manipulation within our bodies. I'm sure we can do that, like levitate, stuff like that. It's once you understand the physics around it, like it's possible, right? But we're not there yet, So it's one thing to say, I want to fly, and life sucks because I can't fly yet, and it's like, that's not realistic, So it really, but then that's what we want to bring. We want to bring this freedom that is so infinite and expansive, right? So you have to navigate that. You have to, and you don't want to go too happy. You don't want to go too sad. You don't want to go too far in one direction. You want to stay in your center, stay in your balance. Know what you're doing, know what you're getting involved with. Don't go too far. You can go far, but when you bring it back, if it's not really fitting in there right and it's not really making sense, just let it go. Don't worry about it. Because you want to stay centered with what you know, where you're at, and where you're going. And everything's here, and it's all available to use. So, any messages for Nicole? Okay, Buddha. What's Buddha? He says he's saying to be careful with your fight or flight mechanisms right now, where you're at. Because as you are growing in your awareness, consciousness, power, essentially it's your power, your soul's coming in more, you're having more power and more direct connection and affecting your life more directly. He's saying, be careful of your fight or flight, because you don't want to create in any negative fashion. You want to create in a positive fashion. So he's saying to really so some suggestions are to reinforce yourself, your surroundings with the things that you love, good music, beautiful colors, aromatherapy. You can get a little diffuser and a little, some rose oil would do great. For calming and balancing. And he's really just saying, he's all about, he meditated in a cave for 9 years, right? Like, he's all about just you and yourself, and that's all he keeps pointing to. Like, don't worry about anyone else that's around you right now. Like, you worry about him. He didn't crack his head open. He's fine. You know what I mean? We fed him. Whoever I'm thinking of my kitty because I got a kitty, but I'm picturing a kid. Whatever you got, whoever's in your life, you're responsible for you and your life, and the love that you can give to others, not their response to you giving them love. That is not your responsibility to fix. He's giving me that sort of just that like you're not even here. You're off in your own world and you just give love, and then they're all mad and frustrated and they're yelling at you, and then you just go, yeah, I know, it just sucks. I know. I love you. Still love you though. You still upset? Yeah. I'm sorry. I wish you weren't, it's like he's really giving. That's what happens when you live inside yourself. It's the place you're going to want to go to all the time. Like this one said about meditating earlier, where you're going to want it. You're going to desire it because you've created your place of peace and sanctuary within. And so then it's always there for you, and you're always going to want to go there. And so expressing that out into the physical world is going to be something not a lot of people that are maybe in your immediate vicinity will understand. I mean, this is the case for all of us, right? And so he's just saying, really taking care of yourself, man. That's all you got to do. That's it. You're already growing spiritually. You're already on your path. So now you need to see your path. like the objective observer, and recognize where you've been and see the patterns and where you're going. Because just this in and of itself, being here for spiritual messages or being a part of learning to channel or doing anything, is the path in and of itself already. So you should already be 100% proud of yourself. Because, like this one said, even if you don't value yourself, there's people around you that are valuing you, right? And who wants to be, who wants their value to be, chalked up by someone else? You know what I mean? Around you, and it can feel great when they value you and someone else loves you. Yeah, sure. But if even then, too much happy, too much sad, it's still outside of you. So, hold on. He's giving me like a specific, focus. He's saying to focus. He's saying breathe into your third eye and your crown and your throat more. Your heart is in the right place. There's a lot of love that you have. He says that when push comes to shove, you will always make and or find a way. So your security, your other chakras, right? Like you're good there. But it's all about you knowing who you are, knowing that you're always good, knowing that. So he's saying, he's giving me like your mind. Just breathe into your mind. All the thoughts that you have, just breathe in and then let them go. And put the ones that you want in there. And that's why he was saying reinforce your surroundings. Because especially in the beginning when it gets tough, we have to fight with our surroundings, and it seems like constantly, and the more you awaken, it seems like the further away from around you get. So really reinforcing your life and its importance to you is what your life is asking you for in this moment. Right. So you take yourself out and you see it and you go, hey, my life needs me. Right? There's stuff to do here. And I get it. So now I'm going to go do that. You know what I mean? And yeah. And anyone who would ever tell you, he always gives me that, because he's always going inside. Anyone who ever tells you like anything different, just like no, red flag right away. Cool. Thanks, Nicole. I like going, and I'll just keep going, because I'll keep going in what he means and why he means it, and but that's the thing, is everything's connected, right? So there's no end, and so that's knowing versus like, did I put them all in the right place so that it makes sense? It's like if you're like the Batman, I'm Batman. Why? Because I said so. That's it. That's it, right? Well, what is your version of Batman? That's what's the real question is, right? And that's going to be tough with the world, with an old world paradigm, because they're still in such a blame mentality, and blaming other people and blaming the government and blaming the society and blaming the rulers of the world and whatever you want to call them all. It's like everybody's too busy blaming things, and just not taking the responsibility for themselves, and like I say, and being unrealistic. I want to fly. Well, you're probably not going to learn how to do that, unless you literally sprout wings, like literally. So you're going to have to learn a lot about human anatomy. You're going to have to learn a lot about birds and birds' wings and how you can maybe grow some, there's a lot of stuff. So it's that, being unrealistic first, just being discerning, and choosing happiness first over stuff. Or I need this stuff. I need this person to be like this so that I'll finally be happy, right? Right? Like relationship. If only you weren't who you are, then we could be happy. It's just like, it's like, no, we gotta stop, but that's tough, right? Because like as a kid, for me growing up, love me some video games, right? Sure, of course, right? But I hung out partying, cool kids, whatever. I did all that stuff too, right? So it's like, you know, on one hand I was living like one life, and on another hand I'm like this total nerdy, intellectual, and then spiritual person, and I've like all these different sides of myself, right, that I'm going through life. So then you meet people, and then you meet people that are similar to one aspect or similar to the other aspect, and you friends and this and this, until we, like personally, until you accept you for everything that you are, you're only going to be living, you're only going to be doing pieces, you're only going to be doing, so, people here, people there. And that's why there's more than one person in the world. So we can, hang out with this person, hang out with that person, or even people just in energy, right? Go hang out at a waterfront and go hang out in the mountains, go hang out, here or there. It's all about you navigating your life and what's best for you outside of apart from what outside is trying to tell you. And you guys, I keep beating on that one here now. Remember that whatever anyone else thinks of you is none of your business. Yeah, that one too. I like that one. That's a good quote too, right? Like, it's not my problem, guys, and if someone doesn't love you for it, then you don't want to be with them in the first, if only you were not who you were, then I'd really like you, it's okay, well, bye, like, because I am who I am already, so, and there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of stuff like that going on in the world, and we really got to, at some point, we just got to start changing it, we got to interject. That's why I say it's never too late. It's never too late. You're still here. Why are you still here? I've heard people say that before too, like, why am I even here? This place sucks. Why do I keep coming back? It's like, you're not paying attention. You're not getting the message. Because I say it too. I mean, I say it probably at least once a week, like, and not like I say it, but I'll see something working at Walmart's, I'll see something and I'll just go, oh, I'm glad I'm here, like, but that's what I do now is, because like I was saying, you change your vocabulary. So instead of negative, I see it and I go, oh, that's fantastic. Like, or when you're yelling at somebody, you're arguing with somebody, have a nice day. And you yell at each other, no, you have a nice day. If we started just like yelling out like positive things, even if we're frustrated, we can start and we'll laugh a lot more. That'd be really fun. I'd be cracking up. That'd be a funny world. What does Jeannie say? Remember that whenever any, oh, is that what, okay, yeah. Yeah, so she says, none of your business. Yeah. Okay, guys. I think that's it for today. We're on like, an hour and 57 minutes. Wow. Cool. I was like, is this almost 2 hours? Doesn't feel like it. Okay, guys, thanks for coming. I look forward to next week and just more stuff with more beings. Like I said, I'll be having a lot of free time coming up, so a lot more to come from me. I'm really excited. I keep saying that, and I feel like, but then there's like life and the natural progression, and I'm sort of like, okay, I mean, I could drop everything right now and then like do more of it, but then it's like, it's life. So I'm really looking forward to what I'm going to be able to create in the future. And, yeah, I mean, I just put it out there, whatever. Yeah, I love spending time with you guys too, man, just doing all this stuff. Like, I love watching your guys' videos. Jimmy, your videos, I see you doing your thing. I love it. Like, this is the world that I want to live in, where we all just hang out and we talk about fun stuff, talk about love, talk about life, right? All love talking about life, right? Like, why are we yelling at each other for doing it? Why don't demonize someone for, sharing their experience? But, we got layers, so, but that's the variety of life. It's all here. Whatever you want to experience, you can. All right, guys. See you guys next time. Next week for sure. Unless something happens. Last week there was no way I was getting on. So, till next week, much love, much light, and namaste, guys. See you next time.